This is a page of ivory-billed woodpeckers that were thought to be extinct. This particular pattern creates a double axle cross, and you can see various holy grails in it. The pattern forms a fluted vase, and it's a pretty cool design. And they are mating pairs. You can see one has the red, the male has the red, and the female has the black heads, and each of they're all mating pairs flying around. So here's the stem of the vase, and then here's the ball, and there's another ball, and it's an overlapping pattern, and here's the cross of the double axle cross. It goes out and you can see the cross. And this is John 1, Gospel of St. John. You can see the background is in watercolor, and then there's a gold on top. It makes a very nice looking design. And here's the next page. That's actually gold, although it's so bright against the purple it might look like silver, but it's gold. And here is the cross at the end of the chapter. Here are the wine jugs for the wedding of Cana. So you got the text up here. And this is the temptation of Christ, and the text is very austere. You can see how the text is written. I was going for a certain type of texture to the page. Here is John 3:16. I used this cross, which was also in my New Testament. A separate New Testament that I wrote it from 1987 to 1995, and this was found in one of the epistles of Peter. I can't remember which one, but I used the cross again here, and this is John 3:16, and as you can see, for God so loved the world, and as you can see, it's just like any other text in the Bible, because that's how I handle the scripture. It has to be part of the whole. This is the 4th chapter of John. Yeah, as you can see, it's written in this style, and I kind of like it. So the entire chapter is very long because we're only handling just a few lines of scripture. This is the front page of it. And here's one of the last pages of that chapter. And so you have a different pattern. This has silver leaves and a silver line going down the side. The other one's had gold. You just mix it up. Now this is John chapter 5, and this is based on a compilation of various French manuscript styles, with the little initial being a different color alternating here in red and blue. And this particular leaf pattern is very early French. And here it is on 2 pages. And this is the last page of that chapter, and as you can see, I have this pattern here. I was inspired by cloisonne, and you can see up here an error that I had in the page. I'm very open about them. I just happened to forgot to put in this particular text, and so there it is in between the texts. Wasn't planned, it just turned out that way. Here's John chapter 6, and this is the page that's highlighted in the American Bible Society video. I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very tiny script here. But there it is. And this is John chapter 7. And so you have this design. And there's a different color, of course, on each page. It's written in brown ink. I formed the pattern into a cross. And it was found in the Sutton Hoo, or Sutton Hoo, don't know how to pronounce it, but it was a silver hoard, and it was found in a Viking ship, and the cufflink had a little bit of this pattern on it, so I turned it into this cross. And this is from a cross. There was a monk who lived a very, very long time ago. They dug him up in the 1800s and found this cross on his chest. And this is another cross, but I'm not exactly sure where. I know it's very early and it's English. And so I just put them into the manuscript. And this is John chapter 10, and it's got this wonderful illumination on the side. Very simple, but it looks really good with the light reflecting behind it. And this is John chapter 13, and I know it looks blue, but it's actually green with oak leaves, and I always like this page. And the next page has these type of maple leaves, and there's the text. These are bird pages in John chapter 15. These are goldfinches. The next page have egrets on them. But each page has a different bird on it. Here's the Oriole page. So you see all the Orioles. This is the polyglot in John chapters 18 and 19. So you see you have the King James Greek following the Greek of the Complutensian Polyglot, and the Latin of the Complutensian Polyglot, which was a Bible that was made by the Grand Inquistor of Spain for the Pope. And if you take a look at Erasmus's text, the Textus Receptus, and try to match it up with the King James Bible, you will find that it doesn't match at all, but that the King James follows the Catholic version of the Greek, which is, of course, the original. And that's a very interesting concept, because there are people who swear up and down that it follows the Textus Receptus, but it doesn't. All you have to do is open up the book and look at it. And I seriously doubt that anybody has ever done that, who makes that claim, because it's rather obvious. Now here we are, the book, the River Cedron. I have these concordances, and they're very interesting because they're not really in modern Bibles, they're in Renaissance Bibles. And for instance, the brook Cedron is right outside of Jerusalem. Is the Garden of Gethsemane. The reason there's a garden there and it wasn't built up was because when King David was fleeing Jerusalem from his son Absalom, he brought with him the Ark of the Covenant, and they set it down in that garden. And from that point onward, it became a sacred place. And so that's why there was a garden there at Gethsemane. And it is also the location where Jeremiah gave us the prophecy of the New Covenant, was at that location. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? So this is the polyglot that is in the edition that I have out right now. This is the new polyglot, which has the text here, interlinear, in Greek, King James Version, and Latin. And the Greek and the Latin are from the Complutensian Polyglot. But I also put the text here on the side, and let's see what we got here. It's in French, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. So we have the Louis II, and this is the German Luther Bible. Reina Valera, I can't remember the exact name of it, and I'm not sure the name of this particular, it's a very famous one, it's from the 1700s of the Portuguese. And this shows that the scripture is the same, even though it's been translated into different languages. It's the same text, folks. People don't mess about with this. I know that that's been a common attack of Christianity, but here is all the text, all right next to each other, so you can see what it says in the original, in the Greek, in the English, in the Latin, in the Portuguese, in the Spanish, in the German, and the French. This chapter, John chapter 20, was written during the hurricanes that wiped out Louisiana, New Orleans, and so I have made it filled with flowers from Louisiana and southern Texas, on the coast, the Gulf Coast. And of course over here we have the lotuses on the next page. And this is John 21. This was the layout of this particular page. I just like the way it's decorated. And this is all from the Pepper Bible at pepperbible.com.